Well, hello, Caymans. Mr. Eicher here, coming at you with some notes from lesson 2.4, Writing Linear Equations. This should be a review of stuff you've done in Math 1 and Math 2, but we'll pick it up and review slope and y-intercept. We'll talk about slope-intercept form and point-slope form today. So let's get started. The slope-intercept form of an equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. If you ask my wife what she remembers from algebra, she's likely to say y equals mx plus b. It's pretty popular, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. The y-intercept being where the line crosses the y-axis, wherever it might be on the y-axis. That's the x, that's the y-axis. So, number one, state the slope and the y-intercept of the graph for each equation and graph it. So the slope for the first one is negative 2/3, and the y-intercept is 4. It's already in slope-intercept form. When we graph it, y-intercept of 4, that would be graphing the point 0, 4, the y-intercept 0, 4. And a slope of negative 2/3, we're going to go down 2 and to the right 3, down 2 and to the right 3, 1, 2, maybe right about here. You can also go backwards. You can go up 2 and to the left 3. See that linear pattern there? So then as we draw our line, this would be our line, graphing in slope-intercept form. I have number 2 for you. You can sketch that. You're going to be seeing that as a try this later after you finish these notes in these videos. But let's jump to number 3. Number 3 is in standard form. If we are going to write this in standard, or from standard form to slope-intercept form, how about we subtract 2x from both sides. That gives us negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. Divide both sides by negative 3. Divide each term by negative 3. And that gives us y equals positive 2/3 x minus 2. So the slope would be 2/3, and the y-intercept would be negative 2. So graphing the y-intercept, we would be at 0, negative 2, and then our slope is 2/3. Up 2 to the right 3, down 2 to the left 3. So that would be our line. The next topic, which I think you've learned before, but we'll review, parallel lines. The lines that you have right here are parallel lines. Parallel lines have the same slope or parallel lines. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So for instance, this blue line looks like it has a slope of up 1 over 3, whereas this red line looks like it has a slope of down 3 over 1. Notice these two numbers are opposites, one's positive, one's negative, and they're reciprocals. One's a third and one's the flip of that, the reciprocal, the inverse of that. So perpendicular lines, lines that, remember, perpendicular means they meet at a right angle, are perpendicular lines. Another way to think of it is if you have the slope of the first line, we'll say m1 is the slope of the first line, and if you multiply it by m2, the slope of the second line, and when you multiply those, you should get negative 1 when you multiply them. So for instance, we had 1/3. If we multiply that by negative 3 over 1, we get negative 1. So that's kind of a definition of sorts of perpendicular lines. Two lines are perpendicular if the product of their slopes equals negative 1. So let's use this on the next part. State the slope of the line parallel to x plus y equals 4. So first we need to know what the slope of that line is. So if we write this in slope-intercept form, y equals negative x plus 4. The slope of this line, we'll call it line 1. The slope of that line is negative 1. So if you want a line that's parallel to that, its slope, we'll call it slope 2, its slope would also be negative 1, since they're parallel. They have the same slope. state the slope of the line perpendicular to 2x minus 3y equals 6. We should probably write that in slope-intercept form. So if we subtract 2x from both sides, we would get negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. If we divide by negative 3, we would get y equals positive 2/3 x minus 2. The slope of this line, we'll call it slope number 1, the slope of this line is 2/3. The slope of the next line that's perpendicular would be the opposite, so now it's negative, reciprocal of that original slope. So if the original slope was 2/3, the new line has a slope of negative 3/2. So we get a product of negative 1. So our answer, I'll highlight just so it can be clear, our answer is, state the slope, our answer is this is the slope of the line that we're looking for. That's the slope of the line perpendicular to 2x minus 3y equals 6. So let's use this to actually write an equation. State the slope of the line parallel to this line, and the equation of the line that's parallel is passing through the point 0, negative 4. I noticed that 0, negative 4, 0, a y coordinate like that is the y-intercept. So just notice that. For this line, let's write this in slope-intercept form. We'll subtract 2x from both sides and divide by 3. 12 over 3 is 4. So the slope of this first line is negative 2 over 3. That's kind of like step 1, we'll call it. Step 2, what's the it's parallel. So the slope that we're looking for is parallel, so it would have the same slope since the lines are parallel. And then the last step, third step, we're going to write the equation of the line. We have the y-intercept right here, and we have the slope right here. So we'd have y equals negative 2/3 x, and the y-intercept is negative 4, so negative 4. So that would be our answer. Y equals negative 2/3 x minus 4. Number 7, we have state the slope of the line perpendicular to x equals 4, and the equation of the line passing through 2, 5, and is also perpendicular to x equals 4. So we have a little graph here. We'll go out 4 on the x-axis. So x equals 4, that would be this line, is the x equals 4 line. If we want to be perpendicular to that, that's a vertical line, so if we want to be perpendicular to that, we're going to have a line that has a slope of 0. X equals 4, its slope is undefined, but the slope we're looking for is a horizontal line, so the slope is 0. And it's passing through 2, 5. So if we go 2, 5, we go up 5, right about here. So we want a horizontal line that passes through 2, 5 and is perpendicular, forms a right angle, perpendicular to that black line. So the equation of that line would be y equals 5. So our answer is just y equals 5, is the equation of the line that passes through 2, 5. Number 8 is one for you to try out, right? An equation in slope-intercept form, the slope is given and it passes through negative 3, 4. So you can try to figure out how to do that, number 8. And I think I'll save number 9 for the next video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.